All right. All right. Very pleased to be joined by defending champion of the Hilton Grand Vacations Tournament champions, Lydia Co. Lydia, when you think back on the win here this year or last year, what do you remember most? What were some of the highlights?
Yeah, obviously this is a very special event to start the season. You know, after having a tough year in 23, to win the first tournament back last year, I think gave me a lot more confidence and good momentum into a year that I knew was very important for me, with the Olympics and, majors at St. Andrews in some very key locations. So yeah, the win was, helped a lot with the confidence, and I think it kind of gave me the belief that I could be back in the winner's circle and get into the Hall of Fame. And that was kind of the year that it happened to be. So yeah, I believe that it all started here. And obviously, this being my home club, I got a lot of home crowd support, and just being able to see some of the familiar faces that I've seen, with the celebrities at this event these past few years has been great. And I've gotten to know a few of them a lot better, and it was just a super special one, and I'm excited to be alongside them this week and hopefully start the season off on a high again.
Just one more quick one for me before I open it up. Taking it away from this week a little bit, International Crown Year usually doesn't really mean much to you, but this year with the introduction of the World Team, how much are you looking forward to potentially getting to play in Korea with some of the other best talents around the world?
Yeah, when the schedule comes out, I always highlight the ones that I'm planning to play, and the International Crown was definitely off my list because I had, it's been me, myself, and I, these past few years on tour. But outside of that, I'm actually excited. There's an LPGA player now that came up from Epsom from New Zealand called Fiona Zhu. So I'm excited that first off, I have another fellow Kiwi playing on tour. But yeah, I love team play. That's why I love Dow. And unfortunately, I haven't really been able to be in that kind of a format very much outside of the Grant Thornton Invitational and Dow. So when I heard the announcement that there was going to be a world team, I was super excited, and I'd love to be part of it. And I think through that kind of week, you make a lot of good memories and friendships that last longer, and things that you can take from that. So yeah, I'm excited, and especially it being played in Korea right after the BMW Ladies Championship, I think it's going to be a great stretch, especially for the fans there who love their golf.
All right, we'll open it up to media. We'll start here in the media center before opening up to the Zoom. We'll start right down here.
So this being your home course, you get to practice here all the time. Do you feel more comfortable compared to other tournaments?
Yeah, last year being in contention for the first time in a long time by myself, I was getting nervous, but seeing some of the familiar faces and knowing, I've played this golf course for, quite a lot, I think it helped with the nerves, and I almost took it as me playing on any other Sunday that it wasn't the event. So I think in those kind of situations, it's helpful. I was joking with one of the members that maybe I know too much about the golf course, where sometimes, if you know less and okay, you just have to hit it here and the greens are like this, then you can play a lot more simpler. But I think it is an advantage, and it was nice to be able to win at home. But it's a everybody's back to scratch. It's a new year, and but the most excited thing about this tournament this year is that we're playing a couple weeks later, so it's going to be a much warmer experience, hopefully, for all of us. And this course is so beautiful, and I think it shines when we are, in more of the warmer conditions too.
On the left here. Yep.
Lydia, when you look back at all of your successes this past year, what would you say is the coolest moment that you've been able to experience because of what you've accomplished?
Probably just winning the gold and standing on the podium, listening to your national anthem. I've been on the podium before, and it was, it's heartwarming just even hearing other people's national anthem and knowing what we all went through to just qualify to represent our countries, and then be one of the three medalists. And Now, I wasn't sure if I was ever going to experience where I was going to listen to my own national anthem, and to hear that, it's pretty special. I think it's a feeling that you can't really, no other situation can kind of replicate that. So that was probably one of the most special memories that I'm going to take on, not only as a golfer, but as a human me. Yeah.
Down here,
Now
yep.
that you know how it feels to use a win in the opener as a springboard, how can this tournament and a good result here in the first event of the year springboard you to a successful season?
Yeah, I've had seasons where I play well, but I don't necessarily start well. And then I've had like good middle part of the season and then good ends. So I've kind of done it all in the sense of like it's good starts, like good, at different points. Obviously last year I played well, I won here and then I played well the week after in Bradenton. So it was a really good, kickstart to, 2024. And, as much as it's small differences, I think winning and not winning, there is a huge, confidence matter that goes on. And, even if you play well, if you don't win, I think always the doubts creep in my mind. But I feel like now, after the year that I had last year, and coming off from one of my worst years in 23, I think I have the belief that even if I don't play well for a span of a few weeks, I don't need to get too down on myself because I know what direction I'm going and I have full confidence in my team, and I just believe that I can overcome those my lulls, and so I feel like I'm a much stronger player in that sense, and hopefully I do get off to a good start, but I'm not going to let that just reflect on how I'm going to approach the rest of the season.
Hi, Lydia. After last year's incredible season, how do you reset your goals and objectives for this season?
Yeah, after winning the AIG Women's Open at St. Andrews, I said I would love to do the career Grand Slam. It's hard winning 5 majors. I mean, it's hard winning 1 major championship, but to win 5 and it all be different ones, it takes a very small group of people that have done it, and I think the last person that has done it is Imby Park, to my knowledge. So, yeah, I mean, if I could be alongside that small group, it'd be pretty amazing. I got to spend a little bit of time with Julie Inkster last year, and she said she won her first U.S. Women's Open after she had her kids, and I was like, wow, is that how far I need to wait? I think she was 39 when she won, and I was like, I can't wait 12 years, Julie. But the U.S. Women's Open is probably the tournament that we, as players, all want to, win and, dream of winning at the end of that Sunday. And, I think because I still have the drive and the motivation to, play the best golf I can while I'm playing, I think it doesn't matter what happened last year. I still know I've got a lot more things to do and achieve and get better at.
Amy?
What are you doing this season to prioritize that, trying to get those last 2 major victories that you need?
To be honest, even when I was going into the season, I was trying to see which tournaments I wanted to play, and I think I started off as like, okay, I'll play 10, and then I'll play 15, and then I'll play 20, and now I think I'm thinking of playing like just under like 25, like 22 or 23. So I think the goal was, okay, like I want to peak at the majors, and sometimes you think, okay, then you work hard and just play the majors, but for me, I think it's always good to have some sort of momentum, whether it's playing the week before or at least having some sort of play. So when I was kind of structuring my schedule around that, I started adding more events, and obviously the International Crown was a cool surprise as well. So yeah, I think when you're at that tournament week, trying to not make a big deal out of it, which was kind of the case for me at St. Andrews. I had one of the best and biggest weeks of my career at the Olympics, and I just thought, there's no way I can outdo that. So I think I just kind of played freely, just enjoyed being, in town and, spending time with my family. And in the end, I played some good golf on top of that. So I think that's going to be kind of the mindset during the week of. But, kind of having a really good structured schedule to make sure that I'm refreshed, but at the same time coming in with good rhythm into the majors.
Following some of your success last season, you pointed to the inspiration you drew from other athletes, from Marty Fish to Simone Biles. Should we be aware of anybody you've been watching coming into this week that you might be drawing inspiration from?
I was actually talking about Marty with my caddy Paul yesterday, and I think that's honestly the really cool thing about this event, right? It's you meet so many different people from different industries that have had so much success, from a fellow member here, Charles Woodson, to actors like Don Cheadle. It's his first time playing, and it's really cool to meet them because sometimes, even though we might be the same athletes at one point, you kind of get stuck in your own world. So to hear their stories, I was so inspired by, Marty's documentary that he did, and I think he said at that point, he said he hasn't watched it yet, and to me, I was surprised, but at the same time, like, you understand. And it's sometimes hard to talk about yourself, but he obviously did it to help other people, and it was so relatable to me. And same for Simone Biles with what happened with Tokyo and the year she's had to be on the podium winning gold again in Paris. So yeah, it's very inspirational. I think their documentaries are something that I'm gonna look and watch again. I watched the Federer documentary as well, and I'm normally kind of an animation person anyway, so it's like completely opposite to what I normally watch, but it's just been really cool to hear their stories and just know that we're not that much different in ways, and hopefully I too can inspire other people that are maybe in my shoes later on.
Lydia, speaking of sharing stories and hearing other people's stories, this is the LPGA's 75th anniversary season. What is the significance of that to you, and maybe from those that have gone before you? What is the most significant story that you've been able to hear from one of the founders or somebody ahead of you?
Yeah, next week is our Founders Championship in Bradenton, and that week obviously highlights our founders, but week in, week out, we're all out there with the spirit of the founders. I think we're reminded that during player meetings, and even our pioneers that have come between our founders to the generations today. We're grateful now to play in some of the most historic venues. And play for some of the biggest prize money that women's golf has ever seen, like what Gina won $4 million at the CME Group Tour Championship last year. We're part of history, but if it wasn't for those founders that sometimes struggled to go on golf courses, and for them to get paid to what it has changed to now, it wouldn't have been possible without them. So we're obviously very grateful for the kind of the pathway that they paved for us, and I think that's kind of got to be the mindset that us players kind of take for even when we retire and are in their shoes one day, because the generation's going, and I believe that it's not the last year the LPGA is going to be around. Soon we're going to celebrate the 100th year and the 150th year, and I'm unsure if I'm alive at that time. I'm just trying to calculate. But it's I've been excited to see the growth that we've had on tour, and me being part of CME Group and seeing them and so many of our other partners support women's golf and have belief and just support women's sport. It's been really cool to be a part of that, and I think it's our duty to have the spirit of the founders and leave the tour a better place than when we found it.
Are there any particular founders or even just maybe those pioneers that weren't founders that you had a particularly close relationship with?
I got to meet a few in my early years on tour, mostly out when we played in Phoenix. With Marilyn Smith being one, and she was I think one of the most sweetest persons I've ever met in my life. Always holding our hands, and I feel like when I held her hand, I was blessed right away, and just she was a blessing. And obviously I didn't get to meet all 13 of them, but the few that had come over the years, I was like, they are all like Marilyn, and because of those empowering 13 ladies, that's why we are here. So like, she was always a special one. I think like whenever I see her, like I felt like a warmth that kind of ran through me, and I think that was just who she was. And when we go to our tournaments, we see like Meg Mallon and Beth Daniels and Nancy Lopez, also another one of the sweetest human beings on earth, and just seeing them and them supporting me. And I remember when I won either the British or the Olympics, I think Meg had told Beth that I was gonna win, and like just make sure to watch because I was gonna win one of them. And so just having that kind of a support is just crazy, because they are literally some of the best female golfers and female athletes, and some of the best that have played the game in general. So to have that kind of support and be in like text range and get the warmest hugs whenever I see them, it's amazing. And I think that's the beauty of golf in general, is that it brings a lot of generations together. And I think that's it's so cool to be in this kind of an environment that sets that up for us.
All right, and then we'll finish on the Zoom here with Beth Ann.
Oh, hi, Lydia. I loved what you said about Marilyn. That was beautiful. I wanted to drill down a little bit on how you got from 10 tournaments to 20 plus, and how long of a time span that was. Did you feel after, such an incredible year last year and in the off season that there was maybe I do want to be obviously a little bit smaller for 2025?
Yeah, I think it was initially 10 because I was like, okay, I'm in the 5 majors. I've got to play, the Hilton Grand Vacations Tournament of Champions, and then I was like, oh, I got to play this one because I love it here. I love the course in Cincinnati, or XL runs Mizuho, so I got to play that one. So it was like just like my few favorites, and I was okay, it's about 10. And then I was like, okay, I still need to play this for this reason. And then it got to like 15. And then I was like, why am I not playing this? This makes so much more sense. And I added, and it was 20. And then I was like, well, if I'm making the trip to Korea, I might as well play, to Asia, I might as well play Korea, and then International Crown. And what's a good, better lead up than playing the week before in Tampa at Annika's event at CME. So I was like, wow, my schedule has just gone a lot more colorful over these past few weeks. But I think it's great. And I think internally, I know that I want to play the best of my abilities while I'm still doing this. And I don't want to half do it. And some people have said, like, you've achieved it all, why do you still want to do it? But I still feel like there's so much golf ahead and things that I want to improve on as a golfer. So yeah, it's not the end. And I'm still going to be playing the Asia swing and play a lot of the domestic events. And I'm excited. It's a new year, but the Olympics was a huge thing just for me, because now I know it doesn't matter how much of a lull I get into, I know that I can overcome it, and there's always going to be good days on the other side.
And then if I could just ask one more, how would you describe your feelings about being left out of team competition all these years? I mean, how frustrating was it for you? were you jealous? Is that a good word for it? How would you describe it?
I was pretty annoyed, especially being a person that loves being in that team environment. I love that when I was an amateur, playing on the national team or provincial events, and that's why I love even the Grant Thornton and Dow, and even though it's a two-person team, it's still having a partner is such a cool feeling, and I love match play on top of that. So, I haven't really had the opportunity to play many match play events properly since Lorena's event, and not getting into these other team match play tournaments. I felt very left out, and I think internally I may have criticized the formats because I just wanted to play so much. It wasn't about the event, but it was like my own frustration, but when I did see it and who potentially if I make it on the team to would be part of the team, I'm super excited about. And I think golf, we're coming to a place where it needs to become more and more unified, and bringing the best players together and showcasing that. And I think this is obviously a great step in that direction too.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for your time, Lydia.